The United States is now at war with Iran, not through proxies, not through cyber attacks, not through covert operations, open military strikes. American service members are dead. Iranian leadership has been hit. Missiles are flying across the Middle East. This is no longer tension. Make no mistake, this is escalation. And history shows, wars that begin this way rarely stay contained. The US and Israel launched a coordinated offensive targeting Iranian military infrastructure, missile sites, and command facilities. This was not symbolic, it was strategic decapitation and capability degradation. The goal? Weaken Iran's ability to project force across the region. But when you strike deeply enough, retaliation becomes inevitable. Iran responded fast with a multi-layered military strike. A volley of ballistic missiles was launched into the night. Armed drones were also deployed across the regional airspace. The attack demonstrated significant coordinated regional pressure. U.S. bases in the Gulf region were targeted. Various Israeli assets were targeted during the wave of attacks. Air defense systems intercepted many threats. But not all of the incoming threats were intercepted. For the first time in this confrontation, the United States confirmed combat fatalities. American troops killed in Iranian counterstrikes. This changes domestic political calculus in Washington, because once blood is spilled, de-escalation becomes politically harder. And as a result, retaliation pressure on the administration increases. Then came the shock. Iran's supreme leader is dead. Whether fully confirmed or partially contested, the leadership structure in Tehran is under immense strain. When regimes lose central authority during war, two paths emerge. The first path is internal fragmentation, or radical consolidation. Both are dangerous. Here's where the global risk spikes. The Strait of Hormuz. Roughly 1/5 of global oil passes through this narrow corridor. Iran does not need to win militarily to cause damage. It only needs to disrupt shipping. Even temporary closure would send energy markets into shock. And shock spreads faster than missiles. Now consider regional escalation, analysis by iNews Channel. If Iran broadens strikes toward Gulf states hosting U.S. forces, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, those governments face pressure to respond. That turns bilateral war into regional war. And regional war changes alliance structures. Israel remains fully engaged. Hezbollah in Lebanon remains a variable. Iraqi militias remain a variable. The Red Sea remains a variable. This conflict has multiple ignition points. And multi-front pressure increases miscalculation risk. Now zoom out. Russia benefits strategically from U.S. distraction. China benefits from U.S. resource reallocation. Neither needs to fire a shot. If Washington shifts military bandwidth to the Middle East, other theaters feel the vacuum. That is how global balance shifts without direct confrontation. So what happens next? There are three possible paths. First, rapid de-escalation through back-channel diplomacy. Second, sustained regional conflict with controlled intensity. Third, expansion, involving multiple states and global economic shock. The most dangerous phase is the next 10 to 14 days, because wars often accelerate before diplomacy catches up. The key question is not whether the U.S. can defeat Iran militarily. It's whether escalation spreads faster than strategy can contain it. If the strait closes, markets panic. If regional states enter directly, alliances harden. If domestic instability fractures Iran, unpredictability increases. Ultimately, every path carries a significant amount of risk. This is no longer theoretical. The war has begun. And when great powers engage directly in the Middle East, history tells us one thing. What starts regionally can reshape global order. The world is now watching for the next move. Because the next move determines whether this becomes a contained conflict or the beginning of something much larger. And we'll be tracking every escalation. Thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe. We'll be back with more updates soon.